Hello everybody, it is meteorologist ENSO forecast and welcome back to another upload. As you can tell guys, we are going to be going through the winter or fall and winter week. We are now on the second day of this new tradition, so of course we are going to be having another upload related to fall and winter. As you can tell, these first couple days for the week, we will be first talking about fall, and then by the end, when we get closer to the end of the week of this first week of August, we will be talking about winter, because I feel like we should talk about fall before we talk about winter. So we will have maybe one more video about fall, and then I'll be doing my other winter thoughts and all that. And then on August 7th, I'm planning to have my second preliminary winter forecast on the last day of the new tradition. So guys, I hope you guys enjoy this, and as you can tell, we're going to be looking at who can see the snowiest fall. Again guys, this is not going to be 100% accurate, and it's still very far out to see who's going to have the snowiest fall. I will be having more videos like these for who have snowiest fall when it gets closer to fall. Don't worry, I'll have a whole lot more videos like these coming out as we go into the next upcoming months. But if you guys like videos like these, be sure to subscribe to the channel. We're trying to get to 2,000, and also be sure to like the video so it lets me know you like videos like these. So if you guys want to know if you will get snowy fall, that'll come right up. So guys, again, we are going to be looking at the ENSO Outlooks before we go to my own forecast. I know you're probably thinking, why are we looking at the same things over and over again? Well, because a lot of you guys sometimes watch some videos other than the other, so you guys don't know exactly all of what's happening unless you watch all my videos. So again, we're going to be looking at the ENSO Outlooks, and then once you look at all the ENSO Outlooks that we're going to be looking at right now, it'll make much more better sense of why I make my forecast like that. So as you can tell, we're going to be looking at the summary. So as you can tell, again, we still have a weak El Nino present. It's right here. If you guys don't see it, El Nino is currently present right now. It's a very weak El Nino. It should very soon become an ENSO neutral. And if you guys want to know how long until we should see a neutral, well, before we get to that, we have equatorial sea surface temperatures, or SSTs, or SSTs, are above average across much of the Pacific Ocean. So that's basically the only reason why we're really having a weak El Nino. We are having a lot of widespread warm temperatures, but it's actually not enough to really have an El Nino. I will actually say right now it's more like it's looking like more of a neutral. You guys will see the sea surface temperatures later in the video. But again, it is looking like a transition from El Nino to ENSO neutral is expected in the next month or two, with ENSO neutral most likely to continue through the northern hemisphere fall and winter. So as you can tell, it's within a month where we can actually see neutral to form. So weak El Nino won't last that much longer. It's going to be, the neutral should form right before the fall months come. So by September 21st, we should have a neutral. And what it's saying is the neutral is most likely to continue in the northern hemisphere, which is over here where we live, over here in the North America, to continue for fall and winter. So we're going to make our predictions based on what we know now. So what we know now is it's possibly most likely going to be a ENSO neutral, not an El Nino. Next, we're going to be looking at is the definitions for an El Nino and La Nina, because we're going to be seeing these words a lot in the video, and if you guys don't know, you won't really understand a whole lot unless you know somewhat what it is. So we're going to be looking at the definitions for what El Nino and La Nina is. So the definition for El Nino is characterized by a positive ONI, which you will see a lot more in the video coming up. A positive ONI greater than or equal to plus 0.5 Celsius. So if we see anything that's plus 0.5 Celsius or above, that it's a El Nino. So again, that's a definition. You're going to be seeing a lot of these numbers very soon. And then La Nina is the opposite. It's characterized by a negative ONI less than or equal to negative 0.5 Celsius. So anything that's equal to negative 0.5 Celsius or smaller is going to be a La Nina, and anything in between is a neutral. Again, guys, if we every time we look at this, we usually don't read the two things in the bottom. But if you guys want to read those things at the bottom, just pause the video. I just want to focus on the main things. Really, we don't have to go super duper detail because it's still not even September yet. We're not even fall. So again, I'm not going to go in super duper detail, but I was just giving you guys the definitions of El Nino and La Nina. So let's get out of here. So now we're going to be looking at the ENSO Outlook of basically we're going to be looking at the probability of a La Nina, neutral, or El Nino happening based on what ENSO's outlook is. But first we're going to read something out here, up here. ENSO neutral is favored to emerge in the next season and to then continue through the northern hemisphere fall and winter 2019-2020. So basically, ENSO is the ENSO neutral, which is in between La Nina and El Nino. It's basically la nada. It's really nothing. It's just a neutral. That's why it's called neutral. Is favored to emerge, which means it's favored to become or transform into a ENSO by the next season, which is fall. So we are expected to have a neutral before the fall season begins, and it is very, very favored for it to continue through the northern hemisphere through fall and winter 2019-2020. We already really looked at that, but this is just going more into detail, and yeah, it's just favored for the next season, which is fall. So a lot of you guys mostly know what probability is. So basically the percent or the chance of it happening here, of an event happening. So here we have the probability right here on the side. So here are the percentages: 10% chance, 50% chance, and 100%. And then again have the other numbers on the side of it. And then so that's the percent, and these are the models. And again, in the blue is La Nina, in the gray is a neutral, in the red is a El Nino. So again, wherever you see those bars, those colors, that stands for a probability of Nino, neutral, La Nina happening. So here, this gray line's the 50% mark. So all the letters you see in the bottom, so JJA, JAS, ASO, those are all models that are predicting the probability of these events occurring. So as you can tell, the blue color is always at the bottom. As you can tell, that's a La Nina. So La Nina is not super duper favored again for this upcoming fall and winter. The highest models are showing up to 15% chance. That's the highest probability so far of La Nina occurring. Again, guys, this is updated 11th of July. So again, we just need to wait a little bit till ENSO re-updates it, which should be way before November. And then we will. The second color is the red. The red, of course, has a higher chance than the blue, and that's at El Nino. Again, El Nino, the models have going a bit better chance of El Nino occurring, so it's most likely neutral, but some models are somewhat of showing a El Nino potentially occurring at the week 1 or Madokai. So again, the highest chance for that we see here, the highest chance is a 48% chance of El Nino, which is not too bad. And then again, the grays are neutral, and every single model shows neutral higher than an El Nino and La Nina, and it reaches up to 60% chance. So it is a very, very good chance of it occurring. So now we're going to be looking at the model outlook. So these are all the models here that will be forecasting what they expect to see. So here we have the numbers that we were talking about earlier today. So anything above 0.5 here is a El Nino, and anything from negative 0.5 to down is a La Nina. So that's exactly why I showed this earlier in the video before we looked at this. So again, anything in between 0.5 and negative 0.5 is a neutral. As you can tell, we have a whole lot of models that are showing a neutral. We have only one model out of all these. One model has a very, very weak La Nina. It's showing a negative 0.6, which is very, very close to a neutral. So based on this, it's not going to be a La Nina based on all these forecast models. It is, and then we have a good amount. Let me draw the line, because a lot of you guys I know it's very, very confusing. This is the line of a neutral and El Nino. So you can tell we still have a good amount of models right here that are favoring an El Nino. But again, the neutral is, again, the most favored so far. I just wanted to show you guys again. Anything above this is El Nino. Anything below this is La Nina. And in between, this big area right here in between, that's where it is a neutral. Again, most of the models are showing it getting in that area. Now we're going to be looking at the water surface temperatures. These are current ones. It's again the same as yesterday. It doesn't really get a whole lot different. They don't change super duper fast. Again, anything in the red or orange or red, anything above this and this color is a El Nino, and anything in this light blue to a dark blue is a La Nina, and again, anything in between here is a neutral. Again, so just remember that. I'm going to try to keep that there just for a couple seconds for you guys to remember that. So again, as you can tell, we have a whole lot of colors in the Pacific. Again, it's all depending on the Pacific right now. We see a whole lot of area right here off the coast of South America. In the blue, which is a line, that's where we have a La Nina. We have a lot of widespread cold temperatures into the Central Pacific, which is what you see in La Nina. But again, it's actually not enough. I don't know if that actually makes a whole lot of sense. It's more like a La Nada, again, a neutral right now. But the only reason why we are holding on to only reason why we are holding into a weak El Nino is because of these warm surface temperatures that are mostly widespread across the Central Pacific. But again, it's just not enough. It should be more widespread like this, and we should have a whole lot colder temperatures out here off the coast of South America. Now we're going to be looking at what we see in an El Nino. So again, we do have the very, very wet conditions because the subtropical jet stream for an El Nino for the winter and fall does bring a lot of wet conditions for the southwest there, and it does bring cooler temperatures. Let me actually switch colors because this is not the best color here, and it does bring cooler temperatures out here for the areas of the south, the deep south and the southeast. So if you really want some cold air into the very deep south, you would really want a El Nino. And then again, it does bring the opposite conditions for the opposite part of the country. Very, very warm temperatures for the northern plains and dry conditions for the Ohio Valley. And again, I'm going through these little things really fast because we already kind of somewhat looked at this. But La Nina, again, it does the opposite, of course. It does bring in some cooler air from this polar jet now. It does bring in cooler air into the northern part of the country. Wet conditions into parts of the Ohio Valley and the west coast there. And then also it does bring in some drier conditions for the deep south. So for basically most of the south of the country. So basically coast to coast, we will be seeing somewhat warmer temperatures, or drier conditions. And then more into the southeast, we will be seeing some warmer conditions for La Nina. So I usually really want an El Nino, but again, it's not really up to me. Now we'll be quickly looking at the 3-month outlook that NOAA has. It hasn't updated in a very, very long time, but basically what it's showing is 100% of the country will somewhat have above average temperatures. I really don't agree with this. They just really need to update because it's looking like we're gonna have super duper cold temperatures for these areas right here. I really don't agree with this. But again, if you are from this light blue, from this light orange color, which is slightly above average, to the second shade, to the dark red, that's where you could expect above average temperatures. So basically, they are just showing most of the country with above average temperatures. Now we're gonna be looking at my forecast for who will be seeing the snowiest fall based on everything we look at. Again, guys, I want all you guys to know that it's not going to be 100% accurate. I'm going to have more updates on this type of video coming up as we get closer to November. Again, guys, I'm just going to have a lot more of these coming up. So if you are in the light blue, or to the first shade, I believe you can have snowy conditions out there. So it's going to be getting basically all the way from the New England area to the west. If you guys are wondering why could we see snow going so far out into the west when for winter we aren't going to have that much. Well, I believe we can actually have a lot of snowy conditions out there into the Rockies, out there in Idaho and Wyoming, Montana, in northern Utah and Colorado. I really believe we can have some snowy conditions early on this fall. It's usually what usually happens every time we have a lot of snow before most of everyone out there in the west. I really don't think we're gonna have the snowiest conditions out there really. Because again, they usually just get the mostly snowy conditions out there, the big ones out there in the end of fall. But again, I do believe that in the light blue, from all the way from New York through the Appalachian Mountain areas, through the plains, we could have again some snowy conditions. So if you're in the light blue, again, guys, don't get mad if you really want the snowiest conditions. This is not really up to me. I'm just making a forecast based on what we are seeing. Then in the second shade, in the blue, the dark blue, we have very snowy conditions, and that's going to be for parts of. I think we can have some more lake effect snow out here. We can have some more Appalachian Mountain snow go through parts of Kentucky, and I think we can have some more plains or some northern plains snow out there. Again, if you're in the blue, you can have very snowy. And then now the time we've all been waiting for. Who will have the snowiest fall? Again, that will be in the third shade, which is pink. I believe that's where we can have the snowiest conditions through part of the Midwest and the areas near the Indiana area. So I believe parts of Minnesota, Wisconsin, the southern part of the Dakotas, and then through parts of the Ozarks and Indianapolis and all that. I believe we can have the snowiest conditions. Again, guys, it's not 100% accurate, but yeah, guys, this is what I believe could happen. So guys, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and please don't forget to like and subscribe, and bye, guys.